Join me as I dive into the past and take on the challenge of recreating some iconic trends and moments from my childhood. So let's talk about some nostalgic trends. Who remembers cassette tapes? I mean, they were clunky, they were awkward, and they often got tangled up in a mess of tape and plastic. But despite all their flaws, there was something special about listening to music on a cassette tape. Maybe it was the ritual of fast-forwarding through songs or the satisfaction of finally finding the perfect mixtape. Whatever it was, cassette tapes hold a special place in the hearts of many. And then there's old-school video games. I mean, we're talking about the originals here. Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and Galaga. These games were simple, yet addictive, and they required skill and strategy to beat. They didn't have all the bells and whistles of modern video games, but they had something that's hard to find today: charm. Clipping coupons. If you grew up in the 70s, 80s, or even 90s, you probably saw your mom or grandma clipping coupons. That means cutting coupons from the paper, saving them, and bringing them to the store for discounts and deals. Hey, even if it helped you save only a couple of dollars, it was worth the hassle. Clipping coupons is pretty much a thing of the past, much like newspapers are slowly becoming a thing of the past and replaced by their online counterparts. If people are using coupons today, they are mostly digital coupons. Sure, some people still cut coupons from the paper and take them to the store, but it's not nearly as popular as it was. Cheeseburger stools at McDonald's. Even though McDonald's is still alive and well today, anyone would tell you it's not what it used to be. Sure, all the classic menu items are still there, and they taste pretty much the same. If it ain't broken, don't fix it and all. But something about the atmosphere and all that it symbolizes has changed. McDonald's restaurants used to have personality. They were fun and colorful and appealed to the target audience: children. The iconic red brick floors, the cheeseburger stools, and the colorful tables are part of what made McDonald's so beloved and popular back in the day, and they're all gone. Kudos was launched in 1986 and was meant to provide kids with a healthier alternative to chocolate bars and other snacks. It was a granola bar that came in a variety of flavors and was usually covered with a chocolate coating. It was produced by Mars, and some varieties incorporated bits of Snickers M&Ms and Dove chocolate. As you can imagine, kids would go gaga for these chocolatey varieties. Even though they were extremely popular during the 90s, they were eventually taken off the shelves. Shark Attack is a board game that was quite popular during the 80s and 90s, but you don't see much of it anymore. Only people who grew up in those decades remember the rush and excitement of playing the board game, in which the players have to swim for their lives to get away from the shark and win the race. It was a pretty fun game, and we'd give a lot to play it today. You can still find the game in some retail stores and online, but it's definitely not as popular as it used to be when it was released in 1988. Horror stories for children sound like a contradiction. Why would you want to tell little kids horror stories? But alas, the children's scary stories to tell in the Dark Book series was quite popular during the 1980s and 90s. Written by Alvin Schwartz, it had 3 books: Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, More Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and Scary Stories 3, More Tales to Chill Your Bones, published between 1981 and 1991. Parents today might be horrified by the idea of reading horror stories to their kids at bedtime. But who said you couldn't? Okay, we can see why it might be a little controversial. It was even banned during the day from some school libraries. One trend that really stands out to me is the rise of the boy band. I mean, who didn't love the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC? Their music was catchy, their dance moves were smooth, and their hair was always perfectly styled. They were the epitome of cool, and we couldn't get enough of them. And let's not forget about the music videos, the elaborate sets, the dramatic storylines, and the choreographed dance routines. It was like a mini-movie, and we were obsessed. The 90s were a special time, and the music was a big part of that. I think that's why so many people are still nostalgic for that era. It was a time of transition, of change, and of growth. It was a time of self-discovery, of exploring our identities and finding our place in the world. And the music reflected that. It was all about expressing ourselves, pushing boundaries, and having fun. As we look back on these nostalgic trends and moments, it's clear that they've had a lasting impact on our culture and our personal experiences. They've shaped our values, our interests, and our passions. They've helped us develop into the people we are today. And even though we may not be living in the past, we can still appreciate and celebrate these iconic trends and moments. So, what's your favorite nostalgic memory? Share it with me in the comments below, and let's take a trip down memory lane together. And if you want to learn more about a specific trend or moment from the past, let me know. I'd love to do a deep dive into a particular topic and explore it further. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.